This morning I've been at a business event and I was with a whole group of business leaders. And I'm going to be really honest with you, I was having to bite my lip and sit on my hands to stop myself from jumping out of my chair like a jack-in-the-box, because it wasn't my event. Now, this event was run by a business coach called Fergus King. Now, Fergus has worked with hundreds of business leaders to really help them to develop and grow their business. So we talked about growth strategy. We talked about resource allocation. We looked at where is it that you're spending your time in your business. We talked about investments, channels to market, all of that great stuff, all the stuff which is valuable, all the stuff which I wish I'd known more of 15 years ago when I made the leap from being an HR career girl to running my own business. Instead of doing what Fergus described, which a lot of entrepreneurs do, is take the leap off the cliff and just kind of hope that you're going to figure it out on the way down. And I'll be honest, I probably did a lot of that. But the thing that I was itching to say, dying to say, the thing that I absolutely know is going to make the biggest difference to these business owners, to the people in these businesses, is the one thing that I'm going to share with you here, which if I'd had the opportunity to share this room with Fergus, I would have been saying to this group of business owners. We tend to navigate our way through life, day to day, and we experience any number of emotions. So we might experience as business owners feelings of elation, feelings of excitement, feelings of, I'm so glad that I made this move. Feelings around potential, possibility. Now, we might also experience feelings of frustration, feeling stuck, feeling disillusioned, feeling guilty because we're spending all of our time working on our business and we're maybe neglecting other parts of our life. We might be experiencing feeling insecure every time that we look at the bank account or the P&L account. We might be experiencing feeling blocked, not sure about what direction to take the business in. We might be experiencing a lack of clarity, a lack of conviction. But here's the secret sauce to all of this. The vast majority of people believe that the way that they are feeling is coming from the external environment. They believe that the way that they feel is coming from this huge amount that they've got to do in their business, which if you're a business owner and you don't have a huge team, you don't have many people in the form of resource, you're kind of juggling a lot of different plates, and I get that. So we can experience feeling overwhelmed because we think, oh God, I haven't got enough time. I've got to do this and I've got to do this, and I should be picking up the phone, I should be speaking to more people, I should be marketing. I don't know how to market because I've got that person telling me that and that person telling me that, and I should have a strategy, I don't have a strategy. Should my strategy be 10 years, 5 years, 1 year? I don't know. I've been there. We might experience feeling stuck because we can't see the next logical step. Maybe we've been brainstorming about channels to market, but it's like everywhere that we look, it's like, well, I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure about that, I'm not sure about that. Now, I had one conversation today with a delightful woman, and I said to her, if there was one thing that you could overcome within yourself that would have a direct impact on your business, what would that be? And she said, confidence. Like, talk to me about confidence. She said, well, I'm going into these meetings with potential partners and I'm overthinking them. I'm already preempting all the reasons that they're going to say no. It's like, okay, so you're bracing yourself for rejection. It's like, oh, yeah. Now, it might look to her, and I have this conversation with a lot of salespeople, that they're going into pitches, they're going into potential business meetings, and they're feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling insecure, they're feeling fearful. And they believe that the way that they feel is because of this event, because of this opportunity, because if I don't get this job, if I don't get this contract, if I don't get this association, this partnership, then these are the consequences. That I may be feeling the way that I'm feeling because I'm at this stage in my business. I may be experiencing a block in my business because I don't know which direction to go in. That's the reason that I feel the way that I feel. I'm feeling stressed because I've got so many different things that I've got to consider, but maybe stress is part of the journey. Maybe stress is just the nature of being a business owner. Now, maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, all of those things, they make sense. Well, yeah, it makes sense that I'm feeling stressed because I've got 6 million things to do and I've got 24 hours in a day and I've only got 3 people working for me. But what if you were open to the possibility that you can have a different experience no matter what is going on in your business, no matter what stage you are in your business, no matter what the bank account looks like, or the calendar looks like, or the P&L looks like. What if you are open to the possibility that you can have a different experience of it? Now, if you're not open to that possibility, well then, you're going to have far more of a struggle than perhaps you need to have. And I know as a business owner, having been steering this ship for 15 years, that sometimes it is tough. But what I absolutely know to be true, and I have seen this in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of directors and business owners and business leaders and people that I have worked with one-to-one, is that at any moment in time, we have the choice about how we want that experience to be. But if we are not aware of what is creating our experience in the first place, we are always going to be victims of circumstance. We're always going to be in the trap of, I'll feel secure when the business gets to this point. I'll feel that I can take some time out, I can take a holiday when? That I can relax when? I'll be happy when? Fill in the blanks. I'll be when? And yet, what is creating your experience every single moment of every single day, whether you are aware of it or not, is thoughts taking form in the moment. You cannot have an experience of anything without first having a thought. And the thoughts that you think create a feeling. And wherever we place our focus of attention, well, that's where our energy goes. And so if we are caught up in these thought cycles, these mental loops, this overthinking about the business, about the strategy, about the people problems, it looks like our feelings of frustration or stress or impatience or insecurity or whatever, it looks like it's coming from that event, because that's what consciousness does. That is what the brain does. It creates false associations. The mind, it's always looking for cause and effect. Why do I feel the way that I feel? And this is even something that Fergus said today. Why do I feel the way that I feel? Now at this point, I've pretty much got my hand in my mouth because I was like, I know the answer to this. And if we don't have that level of awareness, well then our level of consciousness is always going to be at a certain level. Because we can only see what's going on from our current level of thinking, from our current level of consciousness. And the thing about the way that we feel, we can be feeling frustrated in our business, we can be feeling elated, we can be feeling any number of things on the emotional spectrum. But emotions, well, they come and they go. Thoughts are transient. They're just mental interference. They're like clouds in the sky. And if you live in Edinburgh, which is where this event was today, we experience a lot of clouds in the sky. But our insight, our infinite wisdom and intelligence is like the sun. It's always shining. Whether we can see it, whether we can feel it or not, that infinite wisdom and intelligence is always there. But our experience of being able to access that will be clouded by how much mental interference we've got going on in our head. And this is what I see over and over and over again, is that people don't realise how much they're overthinking, how much time and attention they are in their head. They're identifying with their thoughts. They're paying attention to their thoughts. They're believing their thoughts. And they often think, when it comes to resolving issues within an organisation, within a business, they often think, well, if I think about this for long enough, then I'm doing something useful. I'm doing something useful because if I think about this, I'm problem solving. Now, I actually gave a keynote talk a while back to a group of unicorn founders at this event that was hosted by UBS. And I said to one of the guys, Patrick, who was a unicorn, well, he was a unicorn, as in they were a startup with a £1 billion turnover. That's what a unicorn is in the business world. It's not like our national animal in Scotland. And I said, Patrick, where do you get your best ideas from? And straight away he said, the shower. So I was trying not to think about him naked, but that's where we get so many of our great ideas. Where do you get your best ideas from? Is it in the shower? Is it in the bath? Is it like Einstein lazing around in an orchard where, oh, I understand the whole theory of relativity and gravity? You know, he wasn't in a brainstorming meeting. We get our best ideas when the mind is settled. When we're out walking the dog, even driving the car. When there's less on our mind, less of that mental interference, that mental chatter, that clutter, contaminated thinking, that's when the higher level of consciousness that is our innate wisdom, that is our innate intelligence, is able to be received. And we talk about potential, realizing our potential. And yes, some of that is going to come from skills. I know that as a business owner, I've had to learn more about business than I ever anticipated when I made the leap from HR to being a business owner. So yes, some of that is skills-based. But if we don't have the awareness of who we are being at any given moment, if we don't have the awareness of how we are viewing life, how we're viewing a situation, how we're viewing our business, our organisation, our team, whatever, and whether that is through the filter of our conditioned habitual thoughts, frustrated thoughts, stressed thoughts, anxious thoughts, insecure thoughts, that's what's creating our experience, is the filter system. But there will be times when the mind's settled and we can look at whatever it is that we've got going on, and it's like, oh, it's manageable. That we can be in our business and we can have a different experience where we feel calm, we feel grounded, we feel clear, we have clarity. We're accessing our natural resilience. We're much more creative. We're much more solution orientated. You know, when it comes to resolving issues within your business, within your organization, you do not want to be doing that from your conditioned habitual thinking, because that's like turning off a tap to creativity, to intuition, to the higher levels of consciousness that are available to us. But if we're not aware of when we're in that state and we're trying to resolve things from our current level of thinking, well, it's going to be hard work. So let's imagine that we are running a business, whether you are a unicorn founder, whether you are a tech leader with a team of 10 people. What difference would it make to understand the fundamental inside out nature of reality? How empowering would it be to recognize what is creating your experience is just thoughts taking form in the moment. It's just that filter system of conditioned habitual thoughts, of which 99% are repetitive habitual thoughts. And that when you can recognize that, well, the mind resets. then we can come back into our natural self, our most resilient, creative self. That's when we can operate from the present moment. How empowering would it be to be able to do that? Because the mind is the most powerful resource that you will ever have access to. Everything that has been created in our planet first started with a thought. And that thought did not come from the conditioned habitual mind. It came from that higher level of consciousness. That, aha, I've had an idea. Oh my God, I know what we should do. That place. And that's what we do at the Mind Solution. So I would love to hear how this has resonated with you. And if you are a business owner, whether you are an individual, a leader, an organisation that want to bring this empowerment from the inside out, then drop us a line and I will look forward to connecting with you. Bye-bye for now.